Welcome to Just the Two of Us Homestead. We are Colleen and Frank, and we live in the perfect size homestead just for us in southwestern Quebec. Gardening, growing food, and preserving is one of our passions. And our barn animals, we love them so much, they're just like pets. And we're so fortunate to be able to live our lives as we do. Each and every day is a blessing. It's September 27th. And I think I just picked the last of the beans. And I'm guessing it's time to finally harvest the rest of these turnips. They're just beautiful. There's even some strawberries. Oops. There's still tons of flowers. Look at that beauty. I wanted to show you that all of this is a dead dillweed plant that obviously is finished for the season. But I guess it dropped a bunch of seed, and through the landscape fabric, it is growing a whole bunch of new dill all down here. So wherever there was a hole in the fabric, it grew a bunch of new dill, and it smells divine. Isn't that amazing? Oops, sorry. It's all down here. I can't believe it. It smells so good. And there's still some celery growing. Well, for September 27th, I got turnips, peppers, celery, beans, strawberry, parsley, rosemary, thyme, and dill. I just can't believe it. Came out here to kind of tidy up the garden. I didn't think I would be leaving with this. It's that time of year again. Last night we had about 4 cords of wood deliver, and it's beautiful dry hardwood. And today, over the next few days, I told him not to push it. Frank is going to stack it. And I showed you this last year, but we have so many new wonderful viewers. I thought I would show you again where our wood goes. So we have this window right beside the driveway where the wood is delivered. And there's literally a wood room in our basement. So we board it up obviously all year, and we put the wood through the window, and we have a nice dry place to store the wood all year. And I'll show you the inside in just a minute. So here's the hole that goes into our wood room. So we just pass all the wood right into there. I'm trying to show you from this angle, but the sun is, I don't know what you can see. So here's the wood on the driveway, and the window is just to the left of the heat pump thingy. But it's a beautiful day and there's a nice breeze. We always get one or two of these logs that under the bark where ants have lived and made their little trails and everything. And I think it's so beautiful. Look at the patterns that they've made. There's a couple of them like that. It's like art. I should have put the little hat on my microphone. I hope you can hear me okay. It's such a beautiful day. The farmer just beside us harvested all his soybeans and now the field is beautiful. I love fall. Here we go. Let the back-breaking work begin. Count them as you do it. Yeah, sure. And here's the woodroom on the inside from the basement. So that's what's left of last year's wood. Here's the window to the outside. You can't see the wood there, but it's there. And we just stack it all. It's not a pretty room. It's just like a dungeon, but it keeps the wood nice and dry. And the wood burning stove is about 20-25 feet away. So it's perfect. And I'll show you the progress as it goes along, but it's going to take a while. Hi, everyone. While Frank is outside doing the wood, I do want to go out and help him, or at least emotionally support him. I do have a few kitchen projects I want to finish up, and most of it you've all seen before, so I'm just going to give you the highlights. These are some herbs that I picked yesterday when I did all the, oops, I'm mixing them up. Turnips yesterday and the beans and peppers. So I just want to get them into their jars because when I did the celery yesterday too, I want to dehydrate some of that. And I washed up all the, not all of them, but a good chunk of the celery tops. And I want to dehydrate them too and make, last year I made like a celery powder and that was really good. And I want to do like a celery salt. So I only have my little thing for my Instapot. So I have that thing running right now constantly. And I roasted a bunch of more red peppers. And I already did a round of roasted red pepper powder. And that turned out really good. So I want to get them in the dehydrator too. So that I can put in the fridge for a while. And the celery is already wrapped in aluminum in the fridge. So that can wait a bit too. So I think next I'll get the celery leaves in and they won't take as long. So this is thyme that I'm doing. This is the dill that I showed you that's growing again. I only took a bit of it because I already have so much dill that I bought because my dill died and I needed it for canning and that. But oh my gosh, this just smells so good. And it dehydrated so well. I am going to go pick the rest of it because this is way better than, actually what I have is dill seed, I think. So this is much nicer. And now that I see how well it dehydrated, I'm going to show you it because it came out way better than I thought it would. I don't know if you can see that. If I tilt it too much, it's going to fall, but it came out really well. It didn't brown or anything. So I'm really happy with that. So I will go harvest the rest of it there. There's a substantial amount. This is parsley. Parsley we just have gallons of, but can't let it go to waste just sitting there in the garden. So I put this all through my salad spinner. I washed it all. Some of it's still in big pieces, but okay, so I'm going to put this in the dehydrator. I'll put the rest in the fridge, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next. These are all the turnips that I harvested yesterday. And the ones I've harvested previously a couple of weeks ago, if you don't have a root cellar or a proper place to store them, the best way to keep them long term is wrapped in a damp tea towel in a crisper in your fridge. So that's what I've done with all the other ones, and we've already eaten quite a few. But I don't have enough room in my crispers, even downstairs. They're full with carrots and other things. So I did this a couple of years ago. Our favorite way to eat them is I cut them up and cube them, and I roast them with salt and pepper and olive oil, and we really like them that way. And a couple of years ago, I did that. I cooked them just like that, and then I froze them once they cooled down, and we reheated them in the oven, and they were as good as eating them the day I cooked them. So what I'm going to do, not to all of them, I'm particularly going to use up a lot of these small ones and do the same thing. I'm going to cook a cookie sheet worth of them, and then I flash freeze them for a bit, and then I'll freeze them. So it'll save on fridge space and keep them even longer than they will in the fridge. So I left 4 like these size, and the rest I peel, because these ones would do us a meal each. So I'm just going to take each one. I need my bowl back. And I'm going to cut them into kind of smallish cubes. Like that. There we go. I think they're all good. And even if some may be a wee bit bigger than the others, and even if they all aren't completely cooked through, that's okay, because when I will reheat them in the oven, and they can finish cooking like that. So I'm just using some kosher salt and some ground black pepper. That's more than I want to use. And I patted them dry. They were well washed, and I patted them dry so the oil really sticks to them. All right. I'll clean up from this and move on to something else. Oh my goodness, Frank, that's enough for today. It's only been an hour or so. Frank, enough. Holy moly.
Found you a good example of the
Oh, wow.
bud
Oh, that
drop.
one's even better.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
said.
really pronounced.
Apparently the guy said it's from ants.
It's really pronounced. I think that's beautiful.
I don't know.
Like half the pile is
No,
gone.
it's not. I started right here. It started right on that
Okay,
line.
but still, look how high it was. Oh my goodness, look at that blue sky. That is unbelievable. The bluest of blue. Not gonna lie, it's getting a little warm in here. I'm tempted to put on the air conditioning, but I just turned a fan on and I'm hoping that cools me off. So now, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I just wanted to point out to you one thing. I'm going to can up the rest of these roasted red peppers that are beautiful. So I roasted them. I took the skins off. And this time I ended up with a lot of extra juice. And the ones I did before, we've already eaten some of them and they're delicious. But some of them I did go a little too heavy on the garlic. I don't know if my garlic is stronger this year or what. They're still good. We love them. It depends on what we're using them for. So this batch, I'm going to go a bit lighter on the garlic and I'm going to mark the jars. So depending what we're using them for. So I'm only going to get, I washed 5 jars. I don't even know if I'm going to get that much. So I'm just going to, I put 2 cloves in each one. So I'm only going to put 1 in each one and just smash it up a bit. And also for these ones, instead of cutting them up, I'm just going to leave them in strips just for something different. Where'd my fork go? So I got 4 beautiful jars. And I wanted to show you what I do when I have a really small batch and I don't feel like pulling out my big water bath canner. You can't do this if you're pressure canning, but you can do this if you're water bath canning. I just took a pot that's deep enough that I can put the jars and still cover them with water. I'm going to show you in a second. I'll bring you in closer. And as long as you put something on the bottom of the pot that's a barrier between your jars and the bottom. So I just put a tea towel folded if you had a little grate or anything like that. So your jars aren't touching the bottom of your pot. You have a water bath canner. And as long as you have enough water to cover the jars by an inch, you have an instant water bath. So I will do this occasionally when I know in this pot I could easily fit 5 or 6, but I only have 4, so it's perfect. I do have to add a little bit more water and I'll show you what it looks like. And then I don't have to bring out my big canner every time. So I'll just add a bit of water to it and then I'm going to show you how it looks inside. So if you're just canning for like us, just the 2 of us sometimes, and you don't have a water bath canner, you can always just make your own. So inside my pot, I have a tea towel that I folded up so it covers all around the bottom. I have my 4 jars on top. 4 jars, get it? And as long as you have a lid that, I'm doing this with my left hand, that fits, you have a water bath. So I'm just going to turn my stove on and do the same thing like I would. Bring it up to a boil, and these are going to process for 15 minutes, and then I'll let them sit for 5 minutes and take them out. I can't see where I put the thing. I did check the turnip once, and it's just about done. I don't know if you can see the nice browning I'm getting. I'm just going to let it go a few more minutes. I could check it with a fork too, but I can already tell. Yep, it's already fork tender, more than fork tender. So I think actually I might keep it out, because at least two sides are nicely browned. So I'm going to keep it out, because then when we go to warm it up again, I don't want it overcooked. There, so that's done. I'll just let it cool down before I'm going to flash freeze it just a little bit into portions of what we would use. This is probably only 2 meals worth. I'm just waiting for the turnips. They're almost like flash frozen. So in the meantime, I have one other little project I'm trying to get done. And I've done a video on this before, and I'll link it down below that'll go into more depth. But I mean, it's simple as can be. All this equipment, I bought at thrift stores, and I only use it for this purpose. I'm going to make fire starters for the wood burning stove. So these, usually I try and find like old candles at thrift stores and that, but I don't go to many stores. So these we got at the dollar store for like, I don't know, $1.50 or something. And I'm going to melt them down. I'm going to take wood chips that we have in bulk because of the chickens in the barn, and I'm going to make eco-friendly and very inexpensive fire starters. So I'm just going to make like a double boiler to melt this wax. I'm going to fill my little trays here halfway, pour some wax on it, put some more wood chips and pour more wax. And I have the best fire starters you could ever have with no chemicals. And Frank says they work like the bomb, because he's the one who starts most of our fires. And you get quite a few. He didn't, I don't think, used all the ones I made last year, but in the spirit of him stacking wood, and I have to wait on the turnips. Anyway, this doesn't take long. And I think my celery is almost done, and it's been less than my celery leaves. It's been less than 3 hours, so I'm going to check that again. And while I'm waiting for that to melt, oops, I have one more. I will go check that. Wash my hands. The celery is almost done. The top few rows are ready, but not the bottom. I wanted to show you, because it won't be ready today, that previously I did the roasted pepper skins. And this smells divine. And look at that, all from the charred skins from when I roasted the peppers. It's just delicious. And that was from one batch of peppers, so probably 2 cookie sheets worth. So today I'll probably get maybe not quite this much, but close to it. And I did one with roasted tomatoes too. I have one that's just roasted tomato powder, and then just one that's regular tomato powder. So this roasted pepper skins is just delicious. The roasted tomato powder is too, but it's also good as a thickener. And then I just have the regular one. Look at the difference in color. Wow, look at the difference. Look how nicely he stacks it. See, just throws it in a pile and then stacks it all up. I wouldn't take the time to stack it so neatly, but okay, not all the wax is melted yet, and there was some pink wax still in the bottom from the last time. So it's coming out pink-ish. So I just pour it in like that. And then while it's still kind of wet, I just smoosh some more on. Okay, now I go back with the wax. I'm going to shake off all the excess. I'm just doing this to push down what I poured on so I don't burn my hands. Yeah, I'll just do these in 2 meals. It's been 3.5 hours for the celery leaves, and I'm going to take the layers that are ready off. It seems to work better from the top down. The dehydrator function on my Instapot is amazing. See, those ones aren't quite ready. So I'll put it back and I'll just crunch up those ones. I have 3 funnel things and I've dirtied. This will be my 3rd one of the day. And all those dishes. And the dishwasher just finished running. I'm very, very good at making messes. I am going to stop right here because I think I've had enough and I still have this huge mess to clean up behind me. And I was thinking, do you think I subconsciously did all these projects today so I didn't help Frank with the wood? Not that he would have let me. He's always done it alone. But I always feel so bad for him that he does do it alone. And then I thought maybe I kept myself really busy so I didn't help him. I don't know. Either way, I got stuff accomplished, but I don't know. I still feel bad. I keep telling him to slow down and pace himself. And anyway, this is just a start. I usually make at least, for sure, one more time this and probably another. And I got 4 more jars of peppers done. I got some herbs done. I have the celery leaves. Then I have the pepper skins to do. So I got quite a bit done, and I went out and checked on him and gave him some moral support every once in a while. And I'll try and go out when he's finished today and show you what he accomplished and how it all looks. So that's it for me. Coffee time, cleanup time, and I'm done. Thanks for spending today with me. It's always way more fun when you're here with me. And until we're together again, take care.